will they be fatigued towards the end of the game and lead to a couple more mistakes? And then got to get the crowd behind you. A large crowd at Southwest University Park tonight. You have to use that to your advantage.
Goes out of play off of Williams. Charlie Dennis, the big Englishman, not able to run it down. Dennis quite a force himself. Tampa very big up front. J.J. Williams as well, having quite a season. Here's a guy who's made the rounds here and there around the USL and immediately challenges as Locomotive tries to play out of the back. Navarro will punch it long. Connor Antley also on a red card suspension last week versus New Mexico. Back into the lineup tonight. Here's Hines. Up along that left wing. Sends one in. It'll be pushed out for a corner. Forrest Lasso. You heard that name right. Forrest Lasso.
We have unconfirmed reports that he is related to Ted, perhaps a distant cousin. I promise that's the only time I will make the joke all night. We'll be talking about him a little bit, though, Duke. There is a cool tie to this El Paso team for Forrest Lasso.
It's Father's Day tomorrow. I'm the dad here, Colin. Those jokes are mine.
Forrest Lasso will be making some of those, too. He is a new father. Sure. Congrats to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Dennis Kostasian. Outswinging corner. Makes its way, and it's pushed over the bar. Bounced all the way to Navarro. Navarro could not keep it down.
Early chance for Locomotive here off the set piece. Just kind of falls to him, and he'll want that one back, certainly, as it just fell to his feet. Maybe got a little too excited in the box, but he will certainly want that one back. The first chance of the game going to El Paso.
Spaniard, La Liga and English Premier League veteran. Injury troubles have kept him out of the game, not just lineups, but out of the game, period, for about a year and a half. And making his return, decided to take a runner on a team he'd never heard of before, Locomotive FC, and a place he'd never been, El Paso, Texas.
He says he's settled in really nicely here. Of course, from Spain, he really loves the culture here, the Hispanic culture, the fact that so many people do speak Spanish. He's found a home here, has had some of those same injury troubles, missing a couple of matches here and there, but when he has been in the lineup for El Paso, you've seen just how good he can be and why he was playing in the Premier League not too long ago.
Sebastian Dalgard, nice pressure, the Dane, on Eder Borelli. Tampa Bay with a lot of the possession. Mark Navarro, we've heard about Eric McHugh and some of his teammates studying Spanish. Mark Navarro studying English and says that he will do an interview in English before the end of the season.
You have to think those guys are teaching each other a little bit. You know, if there's 2 or 3 guys trying to learn Spanish and a couple guys trying to learn English, just trade secrets there.
Who better than your locker room teammates for lessons? Here's Navarro. Kostasian. Sent long by the Spaniard. Brought down by Antley. Atlanta, Georgia native, has an assist this season. Very much a battle, not just between these teams, but between a couple of very good head coaches, Neil Collins, and of course, Locomotive's Brian Clarehout.
Collins has been around, no doubt, for a long time. Clarehout, the new kid on the block in USL, but has taken the league by storm somewhat here, you know, early on in the season for Locomotive, obviously sitting on 11 unbeaten.
You think Locomotive's last loss was March 18th, which tomorrow will be exactly 3 months ago. It was just amazing.
And we were sitting up here in Detroit City, wondering where things were going to go for this team. And
here's a shot. Blazed over the bar, and turnabout is fair play, says Jake LaCava.
Interesting to see, too, Duke, this early high press from Tampa Bay, which is something that Eric McHugh in his post-game press conference on Wednesday said that he didn't necessarily do as well with it when Las Vegas did it on Wednesday as he would have liked. So it will be interesting to see early on how Locomotive adjusts that. And certainly with Tampa Bay, they're doing this as much because Locomotive is playing their 3rd match in 7 days as anything. You have to try to tire at a team that's already on tired legs.
Of course, Locomotive conceding the goal they gave up versus Las Vegas just 3 minutes into the match on Wednesday night. Locomotive comfortably past that, but not comfortable in possession just yet. Tampa Bay, that high pressure, has kept the ball pinned in El Paso's half of the pitch. Headed to our 8th minute. Locomotive. Spalding. We'll switch it out to the right side, and Antley. Dalgard, the Dane. Good pressure by Borelli. And there is Forrest Lasso. You brought something up that's very interesting. Forrest Lasso last played for GIF Sundsvall. If you recognize the name, you should. That's where Brian Claerhout coached last year. Yes, Brian Claerhout coached Forrest Lasso in Sweden.
And what a small world that is. He brought him over for the 2022 season after GIF Sundsvall had moved in to the Allsvenskan, the top league in Sweden. Didn't go the way anyone really wanted it to go, right? They didn't have a great year, but he's Claerhout, in terms of talking about Forrest Lasso, said he's got a great personality, a great leader as well, and it is a force defensively, a 3-time USL Championship Defender of the Year, including back-to-back years, 2020 and 21. Brian said it was going to be great to see him, and I'm sure they had a chance to chat before the match, maybe after the match as well, too.
Dalgard, Charlie Dennis is tracked back. Tampa Bay maintaining possession, though. Here's Dalgard, the cross in. It is over Williams' head. Brought down and a shot, the first on target. Easily turned aside by Benny Diaz against the Englishman, Charlie Dennis. Trying to start the Benny Diaz chance in section 105. Over the top, that'll be a foul. Ron Gomez.
Of course, his first goal of the season last Saturday at San Antonio, hoping to use that as a bit of a boost forward for him as he opened the account and tries to add to it over the course of the next few matches.
Jordan Doherty here on the restart. Doherty to the far post. That is McHugh. Deflected, though, and kept moving by Spalding. Locomotive getting pieces of this, but still not able to control it. And now it's Popkovic who wants his goalie to come out and play it, and he doesn't. Hungarian deciding to just push it into space.
Silent assassin, Brian Claerhout has called him. And you asked him about Bense on Wednesday after the game.
Yes.
Just said he's cool, calm, collected, doesn't have to be told to do something more than once, just does his job.
There are vocal leaders, and then there are guys who lead by example on the pitch. Bense Popkovic, definitely the latter. One of the things the technical staff has talked about is the quality he shows on the ball with his feet. The Hungarian just knows what he's doing, and it's really one of the reasons I think Locomotive has done as well as it has defensively, though they've had Eric McHugh having to fill in for Yuma. A lot of change on that back line. Popkovic has things very settled.
And he's one of the guys that has really been a mainstay in that lineup, like you said, just having so many different people coming in and out of the lineup. And think about it, too, with Eric McHugh, a young player having to fill in for a veteran, and Yuma, who's out with an injury, having a guy like Bense Popkovic, who has kind of been there, done that next to him as a center back, that has to be huge.
Lots of great examples to lead in the locker room and on the pitch. Locomotive trying to work something in possession. Calvillo pressured. High line continues for Tampa. Diaz goes over the top, looking for Kostishin. And again one, Lacava. Spalding. elects to go back. One of the first touches for Aron Guillen. Native of Chihuahua, Mexico, but his family obviously coming to El Paso as he graduated from Coronado High. Wonderful to be back in the Sun City.
No doubt for him. It has to be so cool. You have to even wonder when the last time he got to play a match in his hometown was.
Sure.
Because he went from El Paso to Florida Gulf Coast for college, then signed with FC Dallas, played in MLS. Now, of course, with Tampa Bay Rowdies, but not a whole lot of opportunities to come back to play a match here until 2019 when Locomotive came around, and this is the first time Tampa's made a trip here. So really, really cool for him. I'm happy for him and his family that they get to experience this tonight.
It is tremendous. Lifted into the mixer after the foul. It's a good effort by Lucho. Almost got a piece of that. Well, he got a piece, but didn't control. Good step over here, LaCava. Up top, trying to feed it back to him in the middle. To no avail was Ekra. Coming over from Inter Miami of Major League Soccer, Jake LaCava. Calvillo earns a foul.
Cava came off the bench as well in their match versus New Mexico United last week. That was a 3-2 Rowdies win at home.
But interesting to me because on the road, New Mexico scoring 2. There was one that was pretty late in the match. But still, 2 goals conceded. Tampa Bay traditionally has prided itself on shutting things down defensively. Their keepers are always among the top for clean sheets on the season, which is a tribute as much to the keeper as it is to the defense. So Neil Collins likes to shut that door, and door's been a little more open this season than it has in the past.
Perennial threat, though, obviously, in this league. Made the USL final in 2020 before, obviously, it was canceled due to COVID. They made it in 2021 and lost, and then made another deep run in the playoffs, although they didn't make the final. But consistently, they are there in 3rd place in the table as we speak right now.
Always there to battle in the end, and as we talk about, is Neil Collins' gang still going to work in the El Paso half of the pitch. Just absolutely huge up front. Talking about Williams and Dennis. 6'2", 6'3".
Williams at 6'4" even, so.
Dalgard 6'2", he's on the wing. That's the man who just played the ball. They want JJ to make a run.
It sounded like it to me.
Field mics.
They
Yes.
know better than me down there, so.
Shout out to our man Chris Kinane, our A1 tonight. Always getting that great sound. And our great crew. Ekra. Looks like he was trying to hook something up to Dennis in the middle. Credit Locomotive, they have held their water well under a lot of pressure in this early going, but have yet to really find a way to break through consistently in the Tampa Bay half of the pitch. And that is going to be a foul. Aron Gomez, when all else fails, dart up the pitch and see what happens.
He was asking for a yellow card for the Tampa Bay defender as well, but Duke, to your point about how El Paso has kind of held their water, it does seem they're just kind of trying to work their way into this match too. And certainly 3rd match in 7 days, I think that's just get the legs warmed up kind of thing almost more than anything. Just get going and make sure you don't concede a goal or 2 early on, and then attack a little more as the match moves forward.
Calvillo, El Salvador international. Aron Gomez. As we pointed out, the starting lineup really only one major change, and that's Nick Hines.
Right, and a lot of those guys have played big minutes, not only versus Vegas, but against San Antonio as well, so.
McHugh over the top, good switch, but well sorted out in the back by Antling. Offside flag was up, so it is a free kick for Tampa Bay. Of course, Rowdies playing in historic Al Lang Stadium. It's amazing the number of famous American soccer pitches that started out as baseball parks. Of course, up in Portland, Oregon, they know a little bit about that.
Yeah, they certainly do. That stadium, the makeover it has had.
Oh.
From the Portland Beavers to the Timbers, and I mean, it was up there a couple of years ago. The additions they've added to the upper decks. I mean, it really feels gorgeous. Like a European stadium.
Very much has that, other than the horseshoe in the middle.
Sure.
The horseshoe around that end was still very much a baseball thing, but long switch. It'll bounce up on Delgard, and he controls. Shout out to the grounds crew, too. This is, the team is impressed. They say it's, as a matter of fact, that's Locomotive assistant John Burklow says it's the best it's been this year. And this was a quick turnaround, like a 2-day turnaround to play on a Wednesday night from Sunday when the Chihuahuas finished up their homestand.
Yeah, and now they get to rip it all up for the Chihuahuas to be back on Tuesday.
Oh, mercy.
So my girlfriend actually texted me at the start of the broadcast to tell me how good the field looks. So
it is gorgeous.
The grounds crew has fans everywhere tonight, dude.
Yes, they do. It's a good pass by Calvillo. Locomotive trying to move things forward here. Lucho. Not finding any joy in the middle. One of his few touches so far tonight. Giving off to Hines. Back to Rose and Borelli, wearing the captain's armband.
And for Lucho, he stands 6'1", 6'2". There's not a lot of center defenders that he won't be as big as, but Lasso is one of them, towering over him at 6'5", maybe 200, 210 in that range.
Tampa Bay is a very big and physical team. Calvillo. Locomotive tries to go again. Castician's touch deserts him a bit there. And now out to Delgard. Delgard taken down by Borelli, and that's going to be a card. Caution issued to Eder Borelli in just the 19th minute.
Bit of a dangerous place, too, here for Tampa.
And pretty obviously on the slide in, trying to get something of the ball, but Delgard pushed it away. Borelli's upset by it, but the card is issued by our referee, Gerald Flores.
Well, I think what he's asking for is why was there not a card given on the tackle on Aaron Gomez about 2 or 3 minutes ago? Is I think the point that Eder was making.
Well, the call is made. And as you pointed out, Colin, a free kick from a dangerous spot. This will be Doherty. Right foot, McHugh leads it solidly. Nice gather by Hines, and he's off to the races. Great cutback by Nick Hines. Just to give Locomotive a bit of a breather, Borelli gets the deflection off of Dennis to earn a throw.
There's Eric McHugh again, an assist last Friday, a goal, and a huge clearance off the line on Wednesday, and that's a big header away for him, so his strong run of form continues.
Liam McHugh, Bence Pakovic, both of them over 6 foot. They will need maybe every inch of that height, as here's a long cross in gathered by Diaz. Delgard, as Diaz tries to restart quickly. Ekra, though, well spotted in the middle, as Aaron Gomez nowhere to go. Calvillo tries to thread a pass to Gomez. It doesn't work. Good job, though, by Liam Rose. Hines on the wing. The cross, too far for Lucho. Appreciates the effort, just not quite on target. And Hines trying to sort things out because Tampa Bay closes quickly.
And of course, Hines, again, a midfielder by trade, but hasn't really had the opportunity to play that position for Locomotive for a while. Certainly not under Brian Clairhout, so maybe getting used to the position a little bit, but we are starting to see, Duke, a few more forays forward by El Paso.
Guillen on the throw in. Lifted out of play. It'll be Locomotive's throw. "22 passes in the final third for Tampa." I know you know the answer to that question. I was about to say, do you want to take a guess? But you already know. 8 for Locomotive FC.
I would have guessed correct then. But I mean, certainly the stats back up the eye test through the first 22 minutes or so.
Just into the 23rd and back to the S. Certainly comfortable tonight with the ball at his feet. Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Tampa Bay is going to come away with that ball again. Locomotive seemingly content to absorb pressure. I'm sure they'd love to find a way through. They have not so far.
I think this might be, in terms of the home games that we've called and been on the broadcast for, this seems like the most they've been content, as you said, to just play with the ball in their half of the field.
I think controlling things early, especially after giving up a goal, really for 2 games very early, the last 2 matches against San Antonio in the Alamo City and here on Wednesday night. Just as we said earlier, hold your water. And Locomotive has done that. Sort things out as the match progresses. Here is Spalding. Though Tampa Bay has spent a great deal of time in the Locomotive half, Locomotive doesn't look like it's losing its head.
No, and they actually stunningly control the lion's share percentage of possession. Unless these
astounding.
statistics are inaccurate on USLChampionship.com. Yeah, 56 to 44 in terms of the possession in favor of El Paso at this juncture.
That is surprising. That is absolutely surprising. Restart here from, well, pushed back up the way by Connor Sparrow. It will come to Hines. And we talk about the equality, talked about it before the match started. Pretty much equal in terms of passing accuracy, 88% for Locomotive, 87% for Tampa. So statistically even, although the field looks like it's tilted back to Benny Diaz's goal.
But El Paso, as we said, it has managed that, and those passing percentage numbers certainly befitting of these 2 squads. Again, the #1 team tied for is El Paso in all of USL, the 3rd place team in the East. I mean, these are 2 of the premier teams in the USL Championship. Hopefully they can continue to put on a show tonight.
Great step over by Diaz. There's Hines with his shots threaded in by Aaron Gomez to no avail. But it's Calvillo who really started that. Beautiful pass up to Aaron Gomez, and the first serious foray really for Locomotive into the Tampa Bay end so far.
That's certainly the best chance for Locomotive on the evening, maybe for Tampa Bay as well. Nick Hines getting forward, has that pace, has the fresh legs. Nearly a goal for El Paso.
Another great turn by Gomez. Hines again. They give him that space. Calvillo. Navarro has to backtrack a bit to McHugh. The Australian Liam Rose. Pavkovic. Kostishin. Who is another player who hasn't really touched the ball a whole lot tonight.
You haven't heard his name said by yourself much tonight until right there, but like you said, I think everybody's kind of working their way into this game. I was curious if El Paso was about to flip the switch after that Hines shot on goal.
Look how tight and compact Tampa is. Tampa Bay. Williams trying to step in there. J.J. Williams. No foul. All ball for Bence Pakovic. Williams remains down, and Hines doesn't have to kick it out of play. And they will call out the Tampa Bay training staff. Ricardo Reis standing just to make sure, along with Andres Rivera, but
get a cooling break here for the two sides, as well as it got up over 100 degrees in El Paso today. Looking at the replay that we've seen on our screens, I don't think Pakovic was trying to do anything nefarious there. Just kind of made a play on the ball, and on the follow-through caught Williams in the leg as well. Certainly painful.
Certainly. Dave Walker, the head trainer, making sure everybody's hydrated. Quick hydration break, and we thought we might see this today. Up and over the century mark for the next week or so here in El Paso, Texas.
Yeah, it's going to be a scorcher after scorcher in El Paso, which June is the hottest month of the year, traditionally in the Sun City, and 9 straight days minimum of 100 degree temperatures, and we're at the start of it. I think yesterday was actually the start of it. Today was actually, Duke, the first day where I felt like, oh, here we go, like we're in it now.
Yes.
Walking into the stadium today.
Welcome to summer in the borderland. Of course, not only the home crowd, but the weather and a bit of the altitude is what Locomotive is hoping affects Tampa Bay the further into this we go.
And certainly the heat is something Tampa will be used to, although a little bit different. It's a dry heat here. It's much more humid in Tampa, and they might actually think this is nice to not have to deal with the humidity. But it is to your point, the altitude as the match goes on. Will that affect them?
Up around 3,800 to 3,900 feet, I think, here in downtown El Paso. Not quite a mile high, Mr. Deaver. Are you still a mile high after this last week?
Maybe 2. You guys trying to get me fired for talking about the Nuggets again? By the way, the 2023 Denver Nuggets, the world champions, if you're
just
unaware.
In case you didn't know.
Beat a team from Florida, Duke.
Yes, they did.
On the opposite side of the state.
Well, we'll see if that holds true for a Rocky Mountain team tonight.
There you go.
Both of these teams with long undefeated strings, 11 straight for Locomotive. Castician does as well as he can to try and get a piece of that, but in the end booted out by Tampa, and Castician commits the foul.
Two shots for both these teams so far, Duke. 1 on goal for each. So again, I think the way that El Paso has come out, just kind of being content to settle into this one, has really affected what Tampa has done as well.
It's a good turn here, though. Dalgard does well. Castillo, pardon me, Calvillo gets a piece of that. All ball, says the referee. And it's here, Aaron Gomez rolls it into space. Castician, wide. Rucho wanted the feed. He didn't get it. Back the other way.
Castician's going to want that one back. He can certainly do better. We've seen him do better as well throughout the year.
Blazed it up and over, a coming together. This time Popkovic. Over to offer his apologies to J.J. Williams. Looks like he's saying he caught the underside of his boot. The foul is whistled.
Second time in a couple of minutes those guys have met up.
Another free kick for the Rowdies. Rowdies, of course, have been around since the original North American Soccer League. Coming in as an expansion franchise in '74, winning it in '75. They also won in the reorganized NASL in 2012, which is why they wear the 2 stars above the crest. making their way to the USL Championship in the late teens, 2017 to be precise, and they've been a force throughout. That is up and to Diaz. He's grabbed. There will be a foul call as Diaz is run into. But the man who put the ball in the back of the net, Connor Atley. And now they are calling Ricardo Ruiz and Andres Rivera over to take a look at Benny Diaz.
Looks to be holding his head, so they will no doubt be taking every precaution with this one. Tampa Bay player is as well.
Dave Walker over to take a look at him.
That's J.J. Williams as well, so for the third time in about 5 minutes. Ooh. They clashed heads there when Williams went up for it.
So Williams and Diaz, a tough collision. And I think an attending physician on as well for Locomotive FC. Diaz up under his own steam.
That's good to see, but they'll certainly be doing a concussion test of sorts. Javier Garcia is the backup goalkeeper for El Paso. You see him warming up just in case, Duke.
Javier Garcia out of McAllen, Texas, 24 years old. Diaz wants to stay in the match. And I don't know if they're going to go over and give a rest or exactly what. He is talking to Ricardo Ruiz, but Ruiz making his way behind the byline and just wants to make sure, I think, that Diaz is okay.
And same for J.J. Williams as well. Both players up and walking around and look like they're going to stay in the game.
So the foul is actually on Williams, and that will allow Locomotive the free kick. Locomotive wins the throw off of the head of Spalding. Diaz puts it back where it came from, to Rose. A little too aggressive by Charlie Dennis. Wry smiles between Rose and Dennis as they both walk up the pitch.
Yeah, certainly not a whole lot there for a foul to be given.
Little hold, and I guess in the opinion of the referee, who was kind of trailing the play, that was enough. Locomotive with another throw, Navarro.
Mark spent some time in the barbershop at some point this week. New mohawk.
Fresh cut.
I like it.
Diaz, wow. With Williams crashing in, just a great pass under pressure to Popkovic. And here comes Locomotive. Ron Gomez trying to keep a hold of it. That is a great rundown. And it is Guillen who forces Locomotive back into their own half.
The Rowdies contingent up there in section 216, kind of down what would be the left field line, all stood up and gave him a round of applause.
Native El Pasoan, originally from Chihuahua, Mexico. Great to have Aaron Guillen and his family here tonight.
2011 El Paso Times Defender of the Year, Aaron Guillen, Coronado High School. One of the few El Pasos, and we've had obviously a lot of talented players come from the Sun City. Ricardo Pepe, of course, just scored a goal for the United States, but Aaron Guillen, he might be one of the few that actually attended high school in the Sun City to make it as far as he has, which includes MLS with FC Dallas.
Certainly. There are some Very, very talented players in the Sun City, as witnessed by Locomotive's great youth academy. They put, I believe it's 11 or 12 players into college programs this last year. That is amazing when you think of it. It was 11.
Including one at the D1 level, I believe University of Vermont, which is typically one of the top.
Castañeda.
Yeah,
Right.
typically one of the top collegiate programs.
Coutinho, excuse me. That's outstanding. Who did play for Locomotive from time to time. Started against Phoenix Rising last year. The very first win Locomotive got over Rising FC, and was integral when Locomotive was just decimated with injuries.
And the great thing about the academy program is he was able to maintain collegiate eligibility while also, playing at a, what is the second highest level of football in the United States. I mean, it's invaluable experience.
Great job by Ivan Militar and his outstanding youth academy. Great find here is Aaron Gomez working to get loose, 1 against 2. And now we'll leave off to Borelli. Another man we haven't seen a lot of in the attacking third. Great deliverer of the ball. William Rose. Navarro, speaking of, just a little too far, looking for Lucho. Again, pushed in. Kostashin with pressure. And it'll be a goal kick issued out by Aaron Guillen. Borelli has not really gotten loose to set anybody up. Locomotive is a team that likes to cross the ball, and with number 5 in the lineup, why not? This is a guy who could really put it on a dime, as he has shown from time to time.
Usually we see him getting up and down that left sideline, that left flank, but no crosses for him in this match, just 3 thus far for Locomotive FC as we sit now the 39th minute. So again, I think it speaks to maybe what a little bit is the game plan for Brian Clearhout today. Just kind of settle in and see where you can maybe pinch a goal at some point, but they will have to open up a little bit more eventually.
Well, they are tight, and they're giving Hines that left wing. He's got all sorts of space.
And he's done well to attack it a couple of times.
Try to switch to the right. Here's McHugh. Rolls it into space for Kostashin. The Ukrainian to the byline. Nice cross. Almost mishandled, but Connor Spiro does well enough. The St. Louis native. 0.8 goals against average coming in.
They tell me that's good.
I would say under 1, you're doing things right.
They tell me that's pretty good. I think 5 clean sheets on the season as well. So,
which would equal Benny Diaz.
Yes. Pardon me, 4 clean sheets for Connor
so
Sparrow.
Benny's got the one up on him.
Yes.
So far tonight. We'll see how things go. As we are just about into the 41st minute here in El Paso, it has been a stalemate. Diaz over the top trying to find Lucho. He does have an assist this season. That's one thing he has that Sparrow doesn't, is an apple.
That's something that most goalkeepers, I would imagine, don't have unless they, in high school, sometimes you're a goalkeeper and you double as a forward.
Sometimes,
people
right?
did that, right? You play the first half in goal, second half as a striker, or vice versa. We had a couple guys like that.
Get a good bounce off the Astro play, the rubber pellets.
There you go.
It can happen. Little discussion. Jake LaCava. It is an El Paso throw, as there we see Neil Collins. Joined the Rowdies as a player prior to 2016, 67 appearances for the club as a center back. Has a UEFA A license and shows it routinely. Tampa Bay at the top of everything the championship does. Here is Borelli. Locomotive, a much better spell of possession, but much as Tampa Bay, They have not found a way consistently through the defense.
And again, we've said it a couple of times tonight, just more or less, and it's turned into over 40 minutes of kind of feeling the game out, but they just have to stay involved as long as they possibly can, just because of the legs.
Now coming together as Forrest Lasso in discussions with Lucho. Of course, the foul whistled on Lasso. Looked like the assistant referee was trying to make up his mind exactly what had transpired, but the referee, Gerald Flores, had already blown his whistle. We'll take a look at the replay. That would be a foul.
Yeah. In general, Lucho taking there it is, taking some offense and with the kick at the shin guard of Lasso.
Lucho very fiery, as we saw in San Antonio.
Not going to back down.
Not going to back down, and it was my contention. One of two things was going to happen. Either he was going to get a red card or he'd score. Fortunately for Locomotive, it was the latter.
And against his former team, San Antonio has a couple of really strong years for them. Have to imagine, even if there's not bad blood per se, that you always like to go beat your former team.
Sure. So Locomotive will have the free kick from way out. Delivered in and easily gathered by Sparrow. Just to come and scoop that, Kostichin. Looks like we may have a stunner of a sunset this evening. Had some high clouds in the El Paso area as we wound down the afternoon. Didn't keep it from going over 100 degrees though. Well done by Locomotive to sort this out. Here's Rose taken down in the box. Play on, says the referee. McHugh. It'll be interesting to see this replay as well. And we will. Diaz. Long switch. Great pass out to Hines, who does well to keep it. Nick Hines can blaze a trail. Locomotive will reset. Kostichin turns and fires with that left foot, finding Hines. Well done in the back by Dalgard. Pavkovic. Borelli gets a foot to it, but here is Dennis. Sparrow. Navarro and LaCava come together. That just allows Benny Diaz to come get it. Almost into first half stoppage time. Pavkovic. Nicely trapped Kostichin, and a great feedback from Gomez. Locomotive on the front foot as we finish the first half. 3 minutes of stoppage time is what we hear. And there is the official signal from Mario Garcia today. Kostichin scoops it. Hines wasn't ready.
Kostichin just been so involved though in the last couple of minutes as he's finally really settling into that game, it appears.
Williams can't run it down. It'll be a Locomotive throw. Into the first of 3 added minutes here in El Paso, Texas. The battle of West versus East so far has been a real stalemate here in the high desert of West Texas. Over the top, Williams, LaCava. Williams trying to feed it back along the left side for Dennis. Doesn't work out. Spalding does well to keep. Here's Dennis. Good idea to switch it out to Dalgard. Dalgard tries to thread a needle. Again, it's Eric McHugh. Doherty. Out it goes. Ekra can't get it steered in.
A couple of very necessary cutouts there by the Locomotive back line. It was McHugh on that second one. I believe it was Liam Rose on the first, but dangerous position there for El Paso. Attacking in the attacking third, forwards in the box for Tampa Bay, and they took care of it.
Lias. Good work by Nick Hines, who earns the foul. Ekra a little too tight. That was excellent step for step with Dalgard and actually Connor Antley in the back. Calvillo.
Just a total of 5 shots between these two teams in this first half, Duke. 2 of them on target. So you said it best. It has been a stalemate. And sometimes that happens when you have 2 really good teams, 2 strong defenses. When they play each other, this can happen.
Both coaches and both teams being cagey tonight. I think that was the game plan for both Brian Clairhout and Neil Collins. Little mistouch there by Dalgard. And that is the end of the first half. Locomotive FC 0, Tampa Bay Rowdies 0. And there we see it. A gorgeous sunset here in the Sun City. Do we have some fireworks this evening on the pitch, as we do in the western skies and after the match tonight? We'll find out. 0-0 at the break in what has been a true stalemate in West Texas.
Your adventure is calling during the summer drive at Casa Ford. Gear up for the summer of a lifetime with thrill-seeking savings on a great selection of rugged trucks and SUVs. Your journey goes further when you shop at Casa Ford. Get 0% APR financing plus $1,000 customer cash on a new Ford F-150 XLT. Chart your course to Casa Ford during the summer drive going on now.
Home of the nice guys. Yeah!
What's up, it's Aaron Jones. I just wanted to say thank you to the Chihuahuas for sending me this dope gear. El Chuco, baby. I feel like I'm at home. But I'm so excited to see you guys June 29th. I'm looking forward to it, and I want to tell you guys also thank you for the continued love and support.
The second annual A&A All the Way Foundation Charity Softball Game on Thursday, June 29th at Southwest University Park. Come join us for a fun-filled evening.
Welcome back to downtown El Paso. Locomotive FC 1, Tampa Bay Rowdies 1. Duke Keith and Colin Deaver with you here from El Paso, Texas, and there you see the man of the match. That is the man who scored the goal. Locomotive needed a touch of that brilliance off the Ukrainian's foot at Denis Kostichin. Absolutely delivered.
Absolutely provided it. Fourth goal of the season for him. You know, Duke, we've talked so many times throughout this 12-match unbeaten run by El Paso, which, by the way, now is the longest in team history, just about how they battle back under difficult circumstances. The entire league was watching this match tonight. You got a top team in the West, one of the top teams in the East. Everyone was curious what might happen when those two titans meet. To me, El Paso, third match in 7 days, putting on quite the show with some tired legs to get a draw at home.
9-3-3, 30 points to top the Western Conference pending other action this weekend. Full week off for Locomotive FC after this three-game stretch as we move into the next match presented by the Brian Birds home selling team. Locomotive taking on their rivals, New Mexico United, on July 1st. The Derby del Camino Real. Games are always a lot of fun between these two teams, even more with the recent success of El Paso in this matchup.
Yeah, 1-0 win in Albuquerque already, and now United coming to El Paso. Eric Quill takes over as head coach for New Mexico after Zach Prince left the club immediately after that Locomotive win back on June 3rd. It was a planned move so Prince could actually join his old friend and United's first head coach, Troy Lesane, at New York Red Bulls. There will be some different elements on the field when these two play, but anything can happen in a rivalry game, Duke.
Definitely looking forward to that one. That'll be July 1st here at Southwest University Park. EPLocomotivefc.com if you want to get your tickets now. Now, let's find our estrella of the match. Guess who? It's El Paso's number 10, Denis Kostichin, as we head down to the touchline.
Locals, let's give it up for Denis, tonight's estrella of the match. Denis, this team never gets up. We were down by a goal and we came back to tie it. How do you feel to come back to get that 1 point?
Really, we so want to win this game, but we unbeaten. We stay unbeaten. It's so nice for us. And thank you, everyone, for your support. You're the best, my friend.
Okay, you got hurt in one play by the sideline, and then 2 minutes after, you score a goal. What did you see in that goal that you scored?
Everyone in team a lot of time joke. I have a lot of shoot in the target, but I cannot score not for head, for leg. But I try one more time, and it's football. I score it. It's good. It's nice for team.
And like you said, 12 games unbeaten, a new record for El Paso. What does that mean to you and your teammates?
Our teammates and our fans the best. Thank you so much.
And then lastly, any message that you want to say to the fans that came out here tonight to support you and the team?
We wait every game for you. Every game. 10, 12,000 come. We so love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Denis. Congratulations. Now we're going to give you the trophy, and you're going to sign this poster over here, and then we're going to give you this ball for you to kick it into the crowd.
Our thanks to our estrella of the match, Denis Kostichin, as El Paso ties this one up one apiece. They needed that last shot, Colin. I know that, yes, his teammates do joke that he takes a lot of cracks at it. Has led the USL Championship in shot attempts, and it was the last one that was the magic one.
Got to keep shooting, right? You shoot your shot.
Shoots.
Eventually, you're going to have an outcome like that. That is perhaps one of the best 2 or 3 goals of the season that El Paso has scored, and like you said, absolutely had to have it on the left foot of Denis Kostichin.
A beautiful evening in El Paso and a couple of weeks rest before Locomotive resumes their season versus New Mexico United. Our thanks to you for watching this evening. For our producer, Juan Gutierrez, our director, Cesar Ruiz, for my friend Colin Deaver, I am Duke Keith. Your final score, Locomotive FC 1 and Tampa Bay Rowdies FC 1. Until next time, I'm Duke Keith. So long, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.